Well, hi. I just want to share a little bit with you about some of the vision of Jim Missions sharing the Father's heart. Part of a biblical basis has been for years that it centers around the convergence of both Mary and Martha. So let's take a quick look at Luke chapter 10 in verse 38. Now it happened as they went that he, Jesus, entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. And she had a sister named Mary, who also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. And that's as far as I'm going to take it. And then, of course, it goes on how Jesus' interaction with the sisters. But what I want to point out is about Martha was the one who welcomed Jesus into her house. And Martha had a gift of service. And yes, Martha got distracted with her doing many things. But if Martha had not invited Jesus, welcomed, it says, maybe with a gift of hospitality, into her home, Mary would not have had the opportunity to sit at his feet and choose the better part, which would not be taken away from her. I think a condemnation, a recommendation, could be given to Martha, because if it wasn't for Martha welcoming Jesus into her home, Mary's ministry would not have happened. So my desire has been to see a place where Marthas are appreciated and Mary has her ongoing place of ministering in the house. But Martha gets stir crazy by staying in the house. She has to go out to the streets. Folks, we need both. And we need the convergence of Martha, who goes out to the streets, has a ministry of hospitality and maybe servanthood evangelism and washing the feet of the saints, like a Phoebe in Romans 16, and a Mary who has the harp and bowl ministry that releases a soothing aroma unto the Lord. Now, that is a foundation of which Jim Missions is birthed, has been birthed, is sustained, and will be ongoing. So within Jim Missions, this is why we have Global Prayer Storm, and we have our noonday prayer, and I have my emphasis on teaching on prayer and all of the equipping, and we want to see that grow as a servanthood ministry of a priestly ministry unto the Lord, of day and night worship and prayer in its own unique form. But we want to see a Martha ministry grow and grow and grow. So how do we do that in our setting? It's we identify ministries that we support and we help empower. That's part of the way that we do it. We've had many different directors of gym missions over the years. And right now it is Jason Ford. And he just does an incredible job. And one of the things that he does is that he goes and he goes and he goes and he goes on site and he does intercession. So he has a combination of someone who carries the passion and the fire, and he goes and he lights and tends those fires. So he's a combination person. And then we personally help support around 30 different ministries or so. And then there's others that we give one-time gifts to as well. So there is a blessing, and then there are those that we build with. And so right now we have 4 categories within gym missions. And sometimes there are others that we walk with or cooperate with, maintain in a sustained way. Right now, those are the solar Bibles, and even recently, there are hard copy Bibles. And Leon Hoover is the person that we walk with in the consistent manner in that area. And then there is the area of emergency relief. And there are multiple people that have walked with us, we with them, in that particular area. Mark Roy has been the primary person for, it seems, decades. But he is a leader of multiple ministries. Somebody Cares, his own ministry of Blood and Fire. And he's engaged in many areas, Freedom's Promise, and many. But there are many ministries that we help support in that area. Leon Hoover, then again, is a conduit of a servant ministry that we help support that is involved in many different emergency relief ministries. And then we have the area of, let's see, how do I say this? First Nations. We are not as engaged in that area right now, but over years, we have been very involved, and we still are, in supporting and initiating efforts, national efforts, in the First Nations, with the First Nations. So we still are involved in supporting and sustaining, walking with, and encouraging. Sometimes it's a ministry of encouragement. Sometimes it has been on site, working with, adding dignity, prayer, and events, and even giving away tens of thousands of our books, Bibles, and food and things. And then there is, a 4th area that we do in sharing the Father's blessing. So there would be the Bible outreaches, there would be the crisis emergency relief, and there is then another one in the First Nations, and then another is simply called Treasures from Jim. And these things all overlap. And in Treasures from Jim, we do this around the year, but we emphasize it towards November and December, where we take extra product of God Encounters Ministries, my product, and we give it to houses of prayer, and we give it to prison ministries. One of the people that we have somewhat tried to consistently partner with would be like Katie Souza. Why? Because she has great prison ministry. And so her women's prison ministry. So we'll take the Passion Translation of the special edition of the God Encounters and sew a few hundred. Or maybe it has been Tell Your Heart to Sing Again book, or some other materials like Strike the Mark prayer book or something. And then now we're trying to work with her outreach into the men's prison because she has a very effective prison ministry. We have worked with People Loving Nashville. We have worked with a lot of rescue type ministries and given, like to houses of prayer, our prayer materials and things. And that's called Treasures from Jim. We'll give, like just say 50 copies of a book and 50 Bibles or something at Christmas time and the holidays, say to one of the local churches. Or how about Spanish copies if we have them available? Now, we have given away so many materials that at this point in time, we don't have as much on reserve, but we also try to get gifts designated to us so that we could purchase, frankly, more materials, and then it deals with shipping costs as well. So those are four of the areas, and sometimes we add other categories along the way for Gym Missions. And then remember, this is what I just mentioned is a bit more of the Martha arm. And then the Mary arm would be Global Prayer Storm. So there's a little overview for you on Martha and Mary coming together in the same house to release, because they're sisters, to release to their brother Lazarus the resurrection life power of Jesus. Hey, this is James Goll, and we are delighted to partner with many. And if you'd like to give a designated gift, that is to Goll Encounters Ministries, but it is towards Gym Missions, you can do that. And you can even designate it to one of these specific categories in Gym Missions. And we are delighted to partner with you. Amen. God bless you.